I don't know if you've heard, but one of the best defenders in the NFL is available this off season. One of the best corners in the NFL, one of the true lockdown guys in the league today is available via trade. And the Patriots should be pouncing at the opportunity to bring in former All-Pro cornerback, Super Bowl champion, Jalen Ramsey. This guy has been an All-Pro for 2 different franchises, 4 different seasons with the Rams and the Jacksonville Jags. He is pretty much known as the best corner in the NFL over the past 5+ seasons in this league. And if the Patriots have any chance of bringing him in, that could transform this defense and this team. The Patriots should seriously consider bringing in Jalen Ramsey. Now, if you have not heard, I will confirm it for you from the Twitter machine. Jalen Ramsey is going to be available via trade this offseason. The Los Angeles Rams are in trouble. Their cap space is in trouble. They don't have a lot of room to work with. Jalen Ramsey is one of those players that has a lot of value across the NFL. He's still pretty much known and recognized as, if not the best corner in the league, one of the best corners in the league. He's been very consistent. He pretty much can play in any system or any scheme, so it makes him very, very valuable. And he's still only 28 years old as of right now. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network says that the Rams have had trade talks with about 6-time Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey, and the league sources now believe it's very likely Ramsey is dealt in coming weeks. Ramsey, 28, is due $17 million in 2023 on a front-loaded deal that averages $20 million, and LA is clearing cap space. So Jalen Ramsey is available. Jalen Ramsey is making $17 million in 2023, only 28 years old, and the Rams have already had talks with teams about Ramsey. That is backed up by another source, Jordan Rodriguez, who says the Rams have received serious trade calls regarding All-Pro defensive back Jalen Ramsey. Underline the word serious. A source said, as they continue to navigate possible offseason moves. Ramsey, who is pretty involved / knowledgeable in how teams run or built in general, has alluded to this possibility for weeks. So I'm sure that Jalen Ramsey is going to have some say in the matter with where he goes, and I'm sure he's wanting to go to a team that has a chance to win and probably is going to go to a team that maybe he has connections with. But if there is an allure to the New England Patriots, if there is a pull to the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick's a pretty big pull for any defensive player. And I'm sure Jalen Ramsey knows what Stephon Gilmore was able to do in New England and probably respects that. And a lot of times in New England's style of defense, the cornerback gets the shine. We've seen guys like, of course, Gilmore win Defensive Player of the Year in New England. We've seen Ty Law go to the Hall of Fame in New England. I'm sure Gilmore will be on his way as well. We've seen Asante Samuel have big seasons in New England. We've seen Darrelle Revis win a Super Bowl in New England and pretty much like cap off his career. So New England is a very much high-end place for cornerbacks. This is like a prestigious cornerback team, especially in the Bill Belichick era. And the Patriots currently do not have a number 1 lockdown perimeter corner. And while Jalen Ramsey has played on the outside and on the inside, he's played a little bit of that star position, as they call it in Los Angeles, the nickel position as it's often referred to. He plays inside a little bit. He also matches up with top receivers on the perimeter when the Rams ask him to do so. He was such a key piece to their Super Bowl team and those really good teams the last few years with what he was able to do, not only as a coverage player in man-to-man, but also in zone coverage, his ability to make plays as a tackler near the line of scrimmage, his intelligence, and just overall his mentality and his presence. Jalen Ramsey is a complete player who, like I said, can play in any system, any coverage, whatever scheme you want to run. And I think that makes him very interesting for the New England Patriots. I'm sure Belichick really respects his ability to cover top receivers, but also his ability to be physical and make plays in the run game and just be a complete football player, because we know that Belichick loves those type of players. And I believe Jalen Ramsey, from not just a player standpoint, what he can do from a scheme standpoint, what he can do from okay, I'm going to match up with Stephon Diggs versus the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to match up with Tyreek Hill versus the Miami Dolphins, because he truly can do that. He is one of those true corners that has the speed to match up with one of those speedsters, the physicality to match up with a big receiver like a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins, who the Patriots could see in the playoffs if they get that far. Jalen Ramsey is pretty much a one-man solution for a lot of the best receivers in the league, and that makes him incredibly valuable. He can play one-on-one. He can play in the nickel. He can play outside. You can move him around. He can blitz. He can do so many different things for your defense. And not only that, he has that presence. He has that attitude. He has that bravado to him that pretty much like raises the level of all of his teammates. He makes his teammates better with how he plays. He plays with a swagger to him. He plays with an energy to him. He plays with a chip to him. If you've ever seen him tackle somebody, he plays with that little bit of an edge that I'm sure Patriots fans would love here in New England. I feel, yeah, corner's probably not the biggest need for New England. Like, I like some of our young corners like Jack Jones and Marcus Jones, and maybe we bring back Jonathan Jones. We still have Jalen Mills under contract. It's not our biggest need. But if you looked at the Patriots last year and how we fared against top receivers, it wasn't so great. And that was because Jonathan Jones was forced to play in a position where he wasn't really truly at his best. We didn't do so well against Justin Jefferson. We never do well against Stephon Diggs. You know, Jamar Chase didn't have a great game, but T. Higgins did. Tyreek Hill got his. Like, a lot of these teams we played and are going to have to play, we're going to need a number one guy. We're going to need a lockdown guy. New England's always been better defensively with a lockdown corner because it allows Belichick to be more creative. It allows him to do more things on the defensive side of the ball, whether that's send one more guy after the quarterback, whether that's double team one receiver and allow Ramsey to take away the other. Do different things in coverage. Do different things up front that just makes the defense better because it's more creative, it's more elaborate, and it's just willing to take more risks because we have that true shutdown corner on the outside. And I do believe that's what Ramsey is. He's a well-rounded player, but at his very core, he's a very good player in coverage that rarely ever gets beat. And that's why when he does, it's a moment, like Mike Evans in the playoffs last year in 2021. It was a moment when that happened, right? Because that's how good Jalen Ramsey is. He's a multi-time All-Pro, I believe a 6-time Pro Bowler. And when looking at what he did last year, statistically, he was still a very, very good player. He was graded 3rd overall at his position, the cornerback position by PFF. He had the most tackles of his career, 88. He had 4 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. And he pretty much fills the stat sheet across the board, whether it comes to run stops or pass breakups or forced incompletions. He does it all, and he rarely ever gets beat down the field for a big play. Jalen Ramsey is an excellent player. He can make the defense of the Patriots that much better. He can solve one of their true biggest needs, which is a number 1 cornerback. We have number 2s. We have nickel guys. I would assume Marcus Jones is going to be a nice nickel for us. Maybe we bring back Jonathan Jones to play that position as well. Jack Jones, I think, is going to be a very good number 2 corner, if not a number 1 corner one day, but he's only entering his 2nd year. Devin McCourty's future's up in the air, so does that mean Jalen Mills moves back to safety? Jalen Ramsey's contract this year is $17 million, but it actually gets better for the team that takes his contract on in the future because it becomes 14.5 next year, 15.5 the year after. And these are going to be seasons 29 years old through 31 years old, which means that Jalen Ramsey is going to be still probably in the end of his prime years. And by the time his contract comes up, he's going to be able to move on somewhere else in his early 30s. And he could still be playing at a very high level, just given how freakish this guy is as an athlete. Like, I think that's the last thing we have to discuss. Jalen Ramsey is just a freaky athlete. Like, he can run, he's very strong, he's very big and imposing for a corner, and he has all of those skills, which is really what makes him such a rare candidate at the corner position. It's why he was drafted high. It's why he's been an All-Pro, been the best corner in the league. He is a generational corner. That's what he is. And to get him in New England and add to that lineage of the Gilmores and the Laws and the Samuels and the Revises, that would be special. And that would make the Patriots defense, one that I already think is going to be good, solve their biggest need potentially, and maybe allow them to really become dominant, because we know they have a good pass rush. Matt Judon, Josh Uche, Christian Barmore, Dietrich Wise, but you add on a true number one lockdown corner to be able to play maybe a little bit more aggressive up front. That's going to take this defense from very good to excellent next year in 2023. So this could be a game-changing move. He's available. Make it happen. We have the cap space. We're top 5 in cap. Now, obviously, if this is going to happen, if the Patriots are going to trade for Jalen Ramsey, there's going to have to be some compensation. And some Patriots fans may not like it so much if they were to trade their first round pick this year for Jalen Ramsey. Now, personally, I would still probably do it, although I would rather trade it for a wide receiver. I do think that adding somebody like Jalen Ramsey, who I don't think you're going to get the equivalent of Jalen Ramsey at wide receiver for your first round pick. Like, I don't see that happening. I don't see us getting a Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams level player for our first round pick this year. I just don't see that happening. Jalen Ramsey is that type of player, but at a different position. I would say probably a less valuable position, specifically to our team right now. But still, I'd be willing to do that because of how Ramsey's presence will multiply our defense. Like, I really believe he's going to, if he comes here and he plays and he's on the outside and he's shutting down people, that just makes our defense exponentially better all around. But I don't know if a first round pick is necessarily going to have to be involved. Because the Rams are so desperate for cap space and desperate for draft picks, there is a possibility that maybe a second round pick and a fourth round pick or something to that degree, maybe a future first round pick, could get the job done. And in that case as well, you're getting a corner, one of the best in the game, in their prime for manageable money when you have a lot of cap space and you're not spending it on a quarterback, for one of the most talented players on defense in the NFL. And I think that's worth it personally. Let me know what you think there. If you're not going to bring in a big-time receiver this offseason because there's not many available in free agency, why not bring in a guy that can slow down those top receivers? That's what I'm saying. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Jalen Ramsey to New England, a potential blockbuster trade that the Patriots should take a look at. Peace.